You are tuned in to On Air with Chris Shanafelt. Welcome back on air with another Player Spotlight interview as we continue to dive into the 2020 NFL Draft Class. I'm your host, Chris Shanafelt, and I'm now joined by Coray Williams, defensive back out of Wesley College, one of the top Division III programs in the country. And Coray, I really appreciate you taking some time tonight. How's everything going?
Going good, man. Thank you for having me on the
show. The pleasure is all mine. So I want to start off by talking about this opportunity that you had about a month ago. You're at the College Gridiron Showcase, Fort Worth, Texas. It's a college football all-star game, and it's really an event that seems to get bigger and bigger as time goes on. I had the pleasure of covering the event a couple years back. What was that week like for you, Coray, especially being a Division III guy? What was it like lining up against players from some of the top Division I college programs in the country?
It was definitely a great experience. I met a lot of great players. Went up against a lot of great players. Just learned a lot from a lot of great coaches. The DB coach was from the CFL, and he just really taught a lot about the game, how professional defenses ran, and it was just overall a great experience. And I felt it was good to showcase my talent in front of NFL scouts, so that way the thought of, he's just a D3 guy can kind of die down in their thought process when it comes to scouting me.
Does that give you an added chip to your on your shoulder, knowing that you're a Division III guy, knowing that you're taking a unique route? It's certainly not a route that hasn't been traveled before. We've seen guys year in and year out come from smaller programs. Hell, Division III was actually represented in the Senior Bowl with an offensive lineman from St. John's University. But for you, coming from a Division III program where, again, not every year are we talking about a legit prospect coming from Wesley College, does it add another chip to your shoulder? Does it add more fuel to the fire for you?
It definitely does, just, because I feel with my talent and the type of player I am, I'm one of the best safeties in this year's draft class. So for them to just try and judge me just being based off from being a small school athlete, being from a small school, Division III school in Delaware, it gives me that extra chip on my shoulder that I have to prove myself every day, no matter whether it's just by myself in the weight room for pro days coming up, or even when I was at the College Gridiron Showcase. I just felt I had to prove myself and show that I belong on the big stage.
So during your week in Fort Worth, Texas, Coray, were you able to meet with any teams? Any idea how they might view you as a prospect? What was some of the feedback like throughout the week? And, again, how do you feel like they view you moving forward as a pro prospect?
I did meet with a few teams. I got called in to take a test for the Cowboys. I spoke with the Rams, the Jets, the Packers, the Giants as well. The Jets and Giants, because I'm from the state of New Jersey, they were talking about bringing me in for their local pro day. Speaking with my agent, he said the Jets right now have me listed as a priority free agent. So, hopefully I feel pretty good on my chances, and I just need the team to take a shot on me, and they won't regret it.
Coray, we're based out of Chicago, and you didn't mention the Bears, but who knows? I mean, we hear stories all the time about players getting drafted or signing to a team that they thought, had no interest in them at all. But the Bears they certainly should be in the market for a safety this offseason. I feel like your game would gel really nicely opposite side of Eddie Jackson, who's really like the prototypical free safety. I'm sure you'd like to play for any of the 32 organizations in the league, but, specifically Chicago, how would you like playing in the navy blue and orange in the Windy City?
Well, I definitely have no problem with that at all. I mean, Eddie Jackson was one of my favorite safeties his year coming out. I loved watching him at Alabama. I thought he was a great player there. And, I think I could definitely, learn a lot from him and just elevate my game to even a higher level, playing next to another great safety as himself.
Again, we're chatting with 2020 NFL Draft prospect safety out of Wesley College, Coray Williams. And Coray, when I say that, NFL draft prospect, I mean, does it kind of sound surreal? I know that's always been the dream, but for you at least, when did it kind of hit you that you were going to give this thing a real go?
It kind of, hit me during the season, like, all my teammates coming up to me, like, well, not all my teammates, but some of them coming up to me be like, yo, like, you really, like, this is not your last game. Keep your head up. Like, you're done playing football when you want to stop playing football. This was after we lost in the second round of playoffs. And, just, like, hearing that and then getting the invite to the College Gridiron Showcase, I always felt like I had the skill set to play in the NFL, but with all of that, it really opened my eyes, and I felt like, I need to really make this push, really prove not only to myself but to others that doubted me because I'm at a Division III school that, no matter where you are, if you're talented enough, they're gonna find you, and you can always play in the NFL.
Yeah, we see it every year around this time. Yeah, like you said, I mean, if you can play, they'll find you, whether you're playing at the Oklahomas of the world or the University of Floridas of the world or, the Wesley colleges or, smaller D2, D3 programs such as that. Now, I do see that the Wesley Athletics official website has you listed at 6'3", 220. Is that correct? If not, can you just update us on your current listings?
That is not correct. At the CGS showcase, I was listed at 6'1", 207. Right now, the last time I weighed myself, I was at 212. So that's what I've been going with, about 6'1", 212.
All right, sounds good. Still, I mean, still plenty of size to offer at the safety position. Now, you have been a starting defensive back there at Wesley College since your sophomore year, Coray. You have a lot of games. You have a lot of snaps under your belt. What would you say is the most memorable play that you've made throughout your collegiate career?
Most memorable play would probably be my first pick six of my career, which came my senior year in the first round of playoffs against Framingham State. And it was just a funny moment because my DB coach at the time, I think it was during the walkthrough practice, he came up to me and he asked me if I ever scored because I played receiver my freshman year. And I said, nah, I never scored yet in college. Then he said, well, you got to get into the end zone. And then it just so happened on the next day, I get a pick six.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can't make that up. So as a safety, Coray, would you rather get an interception or would you rather, lay a hard hit and force the ball out of a receiver's hands? Which would you prefer, an interception, forced fumble, and fumble recovery?
I'm looking for the hard hit. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I'm looking for the hard hit. I want to put fear in my opponent's hearts anytime I'm out on the field. So if that hard hit leads to a forced fumble and a fumble recovery, then so be it. But definitely gonna look for the hard hit.
Well, that's the answer I'd like to hear. I'm sure NFL teams out here would like to hear out of their strong safety as well. Few more questions for 2020 NFL Draft prospect. He's Coray Williams, safety out of Wesley College. And, Coray, I know that you were teammates with Ruhan Peel, former Rutgers standout, finished his collegiate career at Wesley this past season. One of the best receivers in D3, over 1,300 or nearly 1,300 yards and 13 touchdowns. What were those battles like every day in practice? And any idea if he, like you, is also pursuing a pro career?
Yeah, he was actually at the College Gridiron Showcase with me, and
okay.
We both were able to showcase our talents in front of NFL scouts, and Ruan's probably the most competitive guy I ever lined up with, ever shared the field with. I mean, we always looked at it as he's the big brother of offense, I'm the big brother of defense, and the team's gonna come down to us and how we lead them, and just pick up the younger guys. But Ruan's definitely, his knowledge for the game is insane. He's like a veteran. He's a veteran out there, so he's definitely a great player, probably one of the greatest players I've ever played with and had the privilege of, competing with.
And that leads me up to my next question perfectly. Teammates aside, because I'm sure Peel, he's one of these guys that you would like to bring up. But teammates aside, over the past 4 years, who do you think is the best player that you've played against?
Um, Besides my teammates, or just teams that I played against.
Yeah. So excluding your teammates, opponents only. Who do you think's the best one that you've lined up against? Or it doesn't necessarily need to be just one guy, but is there a couple players that stand out over the years?
Yeah, definitely. Joe Germanero, the quarterback at Ithaca, I played against him our sophomore year when he was at Rockport, and he's definitely, I don't know how he's flying under the radar right now. In my eyes, he's an NFL quarterback. He threw for over, I think, 11,000 yards in his career, over 100 touchdowns. So he's definitely an NFL quarterback in my eyes. Devante Ellis, he was a running back for Delaware Valley. Real big, strong, fast, physical runner.
Okay. So yeah, I'm doing some research right now on the Brockport quarterback that you listed. I want to say his name does almost sound familiar. So after this interview, I'll have to go back and check out some of his film. So yeah, just looking at your film, I actually got it playing right now as we speak, Coray. And from what I've seen, and it's not my first time watching, it's probably my third or fourth time, honestly. But you pretty much bring it all to the safety position. Great size, coverage skills. You had 5 interceptions this past season. You mentioned it. You enjoy it. You like to lay hard hits on your opponents, force the ball out. But for those who are not familiar with your game, how would you describe it? What would you say is your biggest strength that you bring to the safety position?
My football IQ. As I mentioned earlier in the interview, I was a receiver my freshman year. So just having that knowledge under my belt helps me, pick up things that the offense is trying to do. I could pick up a lot based off a wide receiver alignment, how they're lining up in their stance, and just certain things like that. Their release off the ball. It just helps me a lot, like dictate what route they're trying to run, if it's a run or pass play, because I can tell if it's a pass play, a receiver is going to get antsy in the stance because, he wants to get out there fast. If it's a run play, he's probably not doing that as much. So there's little things like that I look for when I'm watching film.
Who would you say you model your game after? Who are some current or former pros that you enjoy watching?
Well, anytime I'm watching film, I'm always watching two guys, and it's funny because they're both. I watch their college highlights, but now they're both on the same NFL team. I watch Derwin James. I watch both his college and NFL highlights, and I watched Kaiser White when he was at West Virginia.
Okay, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, Derwin James, obviously a lot of people are familiar with, but Kaiser White, I mean, he's one of those under the radar guys that really seem to, last year I felt like he had a really underrated season. So, I mean, that's going to be a name that's going to continue for people will be more and more familiar with. 2020 NFL Draft prospect, we're talking with safety out of Wesley College, Coray Williams, and the All-Star game is officially behind you, the CGS. Now I'm sure all focus has shifted into Pro Day prep. Coray, where are you currently training at, and what Pro Day will you be participating in? Are you going to try getting into one of these bigger programs, Pro Day workouts, or will Wesley College be hosting their own Pro Day? Is that still kind of in the works, or do we know what's up with that yet?
Right now, I'm currently training at my college at Wesley. I have a PDF file from Joe DeFranco. He trained a lot of NFL players, just off the top of my head, Miles Austin, Brian Cushion, some of the big name guys that I can think of off the top of my head. Pro Day wise, me and my agent are still trying to get me into a few big colleges. Right now, we're looking at the University of Delaware, the University of Monmouth, and Rutgers University.
All right, sounds good. Any goals, any numbers you have written down somewhere that you'd like to hit for your Pro Day?
40 wise, I'm looking between a 4.5, 4.6, and then bench wise, at least 15 to 20 reps between there. And then for my pro agility, I want to hit under 4.4. Hopefully, I can get into like a low 4.3 or under 4.3.
Yeah, obviously this, especially for a smaller school guy, pro day, all-star circuit, really big opportunities for you, no doubt about it. Final question for you. Let's say we have all 32 NFL general managers. They're all tuned into this very interview. Why should they want the safety, Coray Williams, out of Wesley College, a part of their team?
You're going to get a hard worker. You're going to get a kid that's not going to back down from any challenge, any task that you put in front of him. And also, like most players, you're going to get a kid that can contribute not only on defense but on special teams as well, whether it's kickoff, kick return, punt return. And you're going to get, just a hard worker. You're going to get a kid that's willing to do anything to help the team win and, just to succeed in the program. And also, you're also not going to get someone that you can count on off the field as well that's not going to make a bad name on the team or anything like that, that's going to represent the team well.
Well said. Couldn't really be said any better, Coray. I mean, certainly things that they are looking for. You mentioned it, something that I didn't even ask about yet in this interview, but special teams. I'm sure you already know that's probably going to have to be the way you make a name for yourself at first, or at least catch the coach's eyes. Especially looking as a day 3, maybe priority free agent player. But as you mentioned, you're willing to do anything to help the team out, and that's what teams like to hear. That's what teams like to see on film, and it certainly shows. So, Coray, that's all I have for you tonight, man. Really do appreciate you taking the time, and wishing you all the best as you continue to prepare for your pro day and, of course, the 2020 draft itself. So thanks again, and all the best.
All right, thanks, man. Thanks for having me again. Appreciate it.